We're going to try a black background on this Bullmark Baragon tin toy. We're trying to get the smoke to show up in the video if possible. There we go. Okay, we got that to show. Now let's move the camera back and see if we can get the walking action in there. Guess we don't really need the black coat there anymore. Let's get that out of the way. And as you can see, it's a very large tin toy. This is the battery box. In the past, I've done videos on a demo and a repair showing all the inside workings of the Godzilla version of this. And I'll put links to that down below so that you can see it. Operates on 2 D-cell batteries. This particular one, unfortunately, had been repaired by other people in the past. And the reason I say unfortunately is because of the way they did things. But here you can see they globbed on solder where they had the... In order to take the body off, you have to get the arms off. But there's ways of doing that without having to resort to this. And then the fit and finish on a lot of the parts. In order to get these tin toys apart, when you put them together, there's tabs and they push in the slots. Then you push in something small into that hole and you bend the tab back. So in order to get it apart, you've got to get in there and pry, which bends the metal, and then the things don't quite fit right again, like little high points here and stuff. And the trick to that is once you get everything apart, you go back in with your tools and smooth out all the areas that you ended up bending up to get the toy apart. But basically a toy this large, just lucky it even survived, you know what I mean? So that being said, it was sent to me because the rear rubber wheels tend to rot out on them. So I 3D printed a new rear rubber wheel, put that one in there. And the wires into the battery box had become disconnected. And one important thing is you have to make sure you get the polarity right when you reconnect those wires. If you watch the repair video on the Godzilla version of the Bullmark, you'll see why. I explain why the polarity is important. And so yeah, I did this battery box has had a hard life, obviously. It's got some tape on it, which I don't believe the tape is really required now because I went in with the liquid glue and basically melted the plastic back together there. It does show the battery orientation there, and in order to get things going, as you can see, it's kind of corroded looking. Well, it was worse. You know, this piece is crimped onto this piece, and this piece goes up there and makes a connection, and so anytime any one of these places has a bad connection, then you won't get full power to the toy, and then, you know, it's not going to work right. So I had to take these parts apart and get the areas where they touch cleaned, put back together, reattached the wires, added a rubber grommet, used a little bit of E6000 glue as a strain relief for this wire. This is very old. It's getting stiff, but it's not to the point where you bend it and it cracks, which at that point you have to replace them. But it's not quite there yet, so it's nice to leave as much of the toy vintage as is possible. So the walking action, let's start with this guy back further so he can walk further before he runs out of room. And I'll push the button on the remote. So you got your swinging arms, walking action. And there is also a light up in the mouth up in there. There it is, way up there, which will come on and off. Now there's a light on the camera, which is, I had that on to help the smoke show up. I'm going to turn that off, and we'll see if we can see the light in the mouth randomly coming on. There we go. See that red light glowing there? Well, and you could even see some smoke coming out. So there you go. There's your large, vintage, rare, and I'm not sure if it's pronounced Baragon or Baragon, but it's B-A-R-A-G-O-N, and it's made by Bullmark Toys in Japan. And I guess what's outstanding about this one, you know, is the big floppy ears and horned nose piece and all that kind of stuff.